Hypertrophy.
All right, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Zach here with episode 62 of my 2025 bodybuilding prep series. And we getting lean up in here. It's skinny biznitch time, and I'm going to be the skinny biznitch. But we've actually got some pretty interesting stuff to talk about here as I yank that bar up to start off my straight leg deadlifts. So, some interesting developments. I've been having a few issues with my actual training program that I'm going to go over, that I'm trying to resolve right now. So that's my A and B microcycles, and then some stuff going on with the side delts and abdominals, as well as some updates on our prep and posing and stuff like that. So let's just get right into it, folks. We got straight leg deadlifts here. So this is gonna be, so this is the A part. I guess, actually no. Technically it's B. It doesn't really matter for the purposes of this video. I'm just gonna be talking about the new kind of like, there's probably a technical term for it, but here's what I'm doing. So I'm still doing my legs push-pull rest, but I have two different sets of that right now. So my first set, and I'll go into the reasons why I'm doing this. So my first set, let's say A set. A set is, again, legs push-pull, but what we have is an emphasis on usually either anterior or posterior chain muscles. And the reason I'm doing this is because I was noticing by the time I was pretty much maxed out as far as like fatigue and effort goes in a session, it wasn't translating to the kind of soreness and like localized muscular perturbation and stuff like that. Like the workouts just didn't feel that effective. Instead of just hammering more volume and potentially going into like the junk volume territory, I decided to do this. So the A week, or the A microcycle. So we got high bar back squat, reverse Nordic curls, and those are supersetted with dumbbell calf raises. So on that day, on that A leg day, it's emphasis on the quads and a little bit of the glutes there. High bar back squat, that's pretty much going to be all lower body muscles, but I try to keep the chest up and not let my hips shoot up from the back when I'm squatting, thereby keeping a lot of the focus and stimulus on the anterior leg muscles, quads, and then like I said, once you get at that bottom range of motion, you got the adductors and all the little smaller muscles playing a role, but looking for some heavy quad stimulus there. And then of course reverse Nordics are like pure quads and hip flexors, and then calf raises obviously are for the calves. I do those every leg session now. So the reason I did that is because I was noticing on my leg day, my hamstrings would be plenty sore, especially because those straight leg deadlifts, those things smoke my hamstrings and glutes every single time. So I know that's going to work. But I've been having trouble, as someone with limited equipment here, I've been having trouble getting a really robust stimulus in my quads. And so I was like, well, let me do this little different kind of split to see if I can remedy that. And so that's what we're ending up with the leg session there. And then the B leg session is going to be high bar back squat. So we're still hitting back squat each session. So there's overlap in the exercises. Makes it a little easier for tracking when I'm going from lower intensity, like 3 reps in reserve, to higher intensity, 1 rep in reserve towards the end of a macro cycle. So still got that high bar back squat on the B session, and then straight leg deadlifts supersetted. Oh, I didn't superset them actually. So straight leg deadlifts and then calf raises. So we're getting less stimulus on the quads for that day, on the B day, less stimulus for the hip flexors, but a more intense stimulus on the hamstrings and the glutes. And my thinking is, because it's a really rapid program that I'm doing, right? I'm like hitting legs, and then it's push day, pull day, rest, leg day. So there's only 3 days in between leg days. So they're coming quick behind each other. And if you've watched my previous videos, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but the reason for that is there's a certain curve, a certain graph that generically lays out how long it's going to take, and then of course these things are different depending on how hard you hit your session, how crazy you went, all that kind of stuff. But basically by the time you hit the 3rd day, muscle growth is pretty much tapered off. So I try to hit every muscle group like every 3 days, and what this does is it allows me to like front load quad work, but then the quads get not a whole week because I'm still doing the squats in there, and then of course like straight leg deadlifts and stuff, still use a little bit of the quads, but it's enough to give them enough of a break to where they can heal up totally. And it's the same with the hamstrings, because something I used to notice all the time is that the straight leg deadlifts, my hamstrings would just always be sore, like 24/7. They like when I would do the next leg session, they wouldn't be so sore that I couldn't do it or that performance was decreased, but they were sore enough to where like the warm-up sets were real uncomfortable. So I've decided to do this little staggering thing here to see if I can spread things out, especially because I'm working with fewer calories, way less carbs, less fats, and then of course I'm keeping my proteins at 1 gram per pound of body weight. But it's just less energy and less materials for my body to work with to recover from these sessions. So rather than just blasting myself every leg session, all of the leg muscles, I'm splitting it up a little bit. So for example, looking at like this session here is I was calling that the B session, right? Yeah, so this would be like the B session push day. So the A session push day has a shoulder emphasis. I'm doing incline barbell bench, seated overhead presses, and super range of motion lateral raises. So you know those lateral raises where I go all the way up to the top. So that's a huge focus on the shoulders. And it's the same thing because my shoulders weren't getting that sore on push day. So I'm really trying to smash them on this B day. And then A day is going to have more of a focus on chest and triceps. So we got incline barbell bench. Once again, that big compound lift is maintaining itself through each of these different sessions. And then after that barbell bench, that compound lift I was just talking about, is skull crushers, these bad boys right here. And these are amazing. I'm so glad I put these in. They still feel a little wonky on the elbows, but I'm starting to figure out what the best bar path and area to hold the bar, as far as grip width and stuff like that goes. And then after the skull crushers here, we've got flies, dumbbell flies. Yes, okay. I'm looking at the wrong page here. Yeah, so then it's flies supersetted with reverse sit-ups for the abbies. I talked about in my previous episode 61, talked about how I was including abdominal exercises to try to force a little tiny bit of hypertrophy. That way, when the fat drops off over the next 8 weeks, the abs poke out a little bit more. They're a little more pronounced. And this was another thing. I'll just get into it now. Actually, no, I want to talk about pull day too, but I added the abs in because I was noticing when I'm doing my posing practice, my obliques and stuff are cramping up. I think my midsection's a little weak for that kind of thing, to be posing like that. So aside from just the posing practice, which will help in general, I'm also putting in some abdominal exercises to try to strengthen things up there. So for the pull day, which will be after this exercise here, we got one of the pull days is focused on biceps and one of the pull days is focused on the back. So like the bicep emphasized push day, which is going to be the one in this video, starts off with incline dumbbell curls, then overhand pull-ups, that's the back exercise. Moving into a superset of dumbbell hammer curls, supersetted with oblique crunches. I know hammer curls aren't the greatest for like strictly for bicep development, but I've also been trying to work on some forearm development too, and I think is it the brachioradialis muscle that hammer curls hit pretty well. Either way, they're also an exercise I really enjoy doing, so they're in there for vibes. And then the other pull session, which you will not see in this footage, is incline dumbbell curls, barbell rows, overhand pull-ups. So much more of an emphasis on the back muscles, but we're still keeping those incline dumbbell curls because those things are gnarly. And they're really, at this point in my programming, it's the only bicep exercise I put in that by the 5th week of a macro cycle, like after I've done like 3 RIR, a week of 3, a week of 3 RIR, a week of 2 RIR, a week of 1 RIR, I'm still getting sore every time in my biceps from doing it, which, yeah, like just standing barbell curls, even though I'm pushing hard, I'm like straining very hard doing the exercises, it just doesn't really do it for my my biceps. They don't get that sore. So, and the pumps are insane. After like the first set of this, the bicep pump is just nuts, man. I feel like a gorilla. So that's what we got going on there. Did a little mix up to try to hit all of the muscles as efficiently as possible and to hopefully reduce the risk of any like little injuries or nagging pains and stuff like that. So that's the idea with the A and B microcycles. So aside from that stuff, all right, let's think. Diet. How are we doing diet? So I'm down to about 173 pounds. We're like on track with a pound a week. It's going well there. So I think my calories, let me just pull up chronometer real quick. I'm still over 2,000 calories. Let's see. Today I am looking at about 2,060 calories. Okay, so my energy target is 2,119 calories. Which is, it sounds like a lot because, they say like the RDA's recommended daily allowance for like vitamins and minerals and all that stuff, or even proteins and fats. They're based off of a 2,000 calorie diet. So I'm eating like what would be considered like a basic diet for a human being. But it makes me feel good because I'm losing fat on just a basic diet. 1, because I'm exercising, and 2, because I have more muscle mass than I would if I didn't do resistance training. So my body is more metabolically hungry than a less muscled person's body would be, which is pretty cool. But I'm very hungry. I'm still holding strong. I had a 3-day refeed-ish thing where I just ate a little bit over maintenance calories because I was just feeling like dog water. Pumps were gone. Felt super depleted. That was about a week and a half ago, and we're feeling pretty strong. Feeling good right now. My goal right now is 21 days straight. Obviously, if I start feeling terrible or my sessions just go to crap, I might throw in a maintenance calorie day or something just to bring me back up. But as of right now, looking good, man. Dropping fat. Training sessions are feeling pretty good. My carbs are really heavily loaded around my training. That way I can get a decent pump so I don't feel so weak and feeble. And then I think that's all I got for you guys on this one. I'm planning on recording and posting. Oh, okay, yeah, we got these beautiful, like I said, the vibes here on these hammer curls. I love these things. And the shoulders are looking juicy now. It's my upper body, especially like the shoulders and stuff, loses fat really quickly. So they're looking juicy, but looking to make a posing video soon. I've been working on that trying to do like at least a round of symmetry and a couple and then another round where I do a pose on each side every day. And then my rest days, I'm trying to do like a good half hour, 45-minute session. I'll like pump up and everything, do a pump up, posing. I got my wife calling my quarter turns and poses for me. So we're coming along. I'm getting pretty nervous. The show's not very far out. I should be just lean enough right where I want to be by the time show day comes. But dude, it's freaking exciting. And now, so I'm working on a posing video for you guys. And then also, I think, unless I forget or something crazy happens tomorrow, I'm going to record a what I eat in a day video just to show you guys what the meals are looking like, what the timing is looking like on I might hop in, I probably will hop in for a voiceover during it and kind of give my idea, my philosophy of like why I'm doing what I'm doing. But yeah, that's pretty much it on this one, guys. I am very excited for the show, also very nervous, but I appreciate all the support. I got that part 2 video out from my fitness journey, kind of looking back in the history of my life, especially recent history, to kind of showcase why I'm doing what I'm doing, where I've come from, my philosophy on training and stuff like that. But I really appreciate you guys being here with me. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a good one.